Hi everybody, welcome to my backyard. As you can see, everything is so green and lush and beautiful. No wonder so many bird species come to this area to nest. Bird feeders, bird baths, bird houses definitely attract a lot of birds to our backyards. But if you want to attract a wider variety of birds, or if you want to make the birds that you have even more comfortable on your property, consider these things: building a brush pile and having uncut lawn grass. Last night we got woken up by a deluge, and the first thing I thought, oh, how are my birds faring it? Well, I'm sure they were actually just fine, because we have a lot of trees, a lot of bushes, and a huge brush pile that I've been building over the years. Remember that Christmas tree that we dragged out after Christmas? But if you don't have as many trees as we do in our neighborhood, please think of building even a small brush pile on your property, because birds are constantly looking for shelter and for areas to hide in. And then a lot of bird species just don't come to bird feeders. They rely on insects and bugs, and those insects need a specific habitat to thrive in: uncut grass. So if you can, please don't cut all of your lawn. Leave some of the patches completely untouched, maybe on the edge of your property. Or if you're not too crazy about uncut grass, consider having patches of wildflowers or pollinator mixes. We actually planted a 10 by 10 patch right on the other side of the camera. I'm really curious to see what kind of flowers will emerge. That's a house wren. They're nesting in our backyard. Anyway, Phil Unger from Ontario has all sorts of trees and bushes on his property, but common grackles decided to nest in the cedar hedge right next to his back deck. So he's wondering if there is anything he can do to stop them from nesting so close to their house.
Hi Phil. I'm not surprised to learn that you've got grackles nesting in your cedar hedge. I hope you don't have a pool, because grackles commonly drop fecal sacs regurgitated by their nestlings into swimming pools. It helps to reduce predators using these sacs and their odor to locate the bird's nests. And if you've got that problem, all I can really recommend is you swim with your mouth closed. But I digress. There are really only two things you can do, and neither are what you want to hear. First, you can buy fine bird netting from a big box store like Home Depot or a nursery and cover over your hedge as best as you can during the nesting season. Make sure to get rid of any active nest before installing it. Second, if you don't want to look at the netting, the only other option you have is to take down the hedge. Otherwise, you'll be spending a lot of hours trying to scare away the birds. Trust me on this, there's no magic bullet out there. Don't waste your money on plastic owls either. They don't work. I'm sorry to be the bearer of such lousy news. While tracking bird movements using specially uniquely numbered leg bands placed on wild birds either as nestlings or caught in nets during migration still remains highly popular among biologists all over the world, a rapidly evolving technology called satellite telemetry involves the use of tiny transmitters affixed to the birds and then tracking them by orbiting satellites. As these transmitters become smaller and smaller, so do the bird species they can be applied to. For example, Onon, a common cuckoo named after a local river in Mongolia, and a bird not much bigger than our American robin, it was fitted with a tiny satellite tag in June 2019 as part of the Mongolian Cuckoo Project, a joint initiative involving Birding Beijing, the Wildlife Science and Conservation Center of Mongolia, and the British Trust for Ornithology. The following May, Birding Beijing posted on its website the following message: Onon is home. As of 15:30 local time on May 27, 2020, he's in the vicinity of the Kirk Bird Banding Station after a round trip of 26,000 kilometers, including 27 border crossings involving 16 countries. After leaving its winter home in Zambia on March 20th, 2020, and flying more than 12,000 kilometers from its winter home in Zambia back to its breeding ground in the Kirk Valley of Mongolia, the smallest bird had overcome high winds and crossed the Indian Ocean to complete one of the longest migrations recorded by any land bird in the world. With its travels followed by thousands of online enthusiasts all over the globe, Onon the Common Cuckoo became an instant celebrity in India, Kenya, Sweden, and of course, Mongolia.
According to Russia's English news source RT in Moscow, after some extreme weather, several people complained about what sounded like a duck in distress. Emergency workers were quick to respond and arrived just in time to rescue the poor duckling that was stuck in the storm drain. With the help of bystanders, they also managed to identify the duckling's mother, an adult female duck that fit the bill. The duckling was then returned to its family and luckily avoided coming to a foul end. Similar to the sage grouse in many ways, the Lesser Prairie Chicken is a ground nesting bird famous for its elaborate mating dance. And just like the sage grouse, its habitat on the prairies of New Mexico is under constant threat from energy development and urban expansion. But there is good news. After a 12-month study, the Department of U.S. Fish and Wildlife decided that this chicken should be put on the endangered list. This will help to prevent its habitat destruction, and it will also allow this quirky dancing bird to maintain a healthy population. A large part of the protection proposed is actually rewilding huge areas of grassland, which will provide more nesting areas for this chicken. And even though the move to the endangered list is still in the proposal phase, there has been so much support that hopefully this will turn into reality pretty soon. Well, it looks like singing birds was not an easy photo contest as we didn't get so many entries, but they are spectacular. Now let's check out the top 5. Well, congratulations everybody. July is 3 is a crowd. And a few things that I wanted to run by you because we haven't mentioned them in a while. So when you win on our photo contest, you are invited to be one of the judges on the following contest. We ask people to judge not because the picture is technically perfect, but because that picture speaks to them. It evokes some kind of emotions. It makes you feel good. Again, this is not a professional photo contest. And then when you win in our contest, we ask you not to participate in the following 2 contests. Well, it's time to wrap up. Again, don't rush to cut all of your lawn, leave some of the grass growing, and try to make at least one small brush pile on your property. Take care everyone, I'll catch you in 2 weeks.